overseas pointed that out first.
So how far ahead are you going?
About 30 years. Nice round number.
Me up when we get there, alright?
And something else to point out is Doc said in the beginning of the movie that he was going to go ahead in the future 25 years. And now he's going ahead 30 years.
Oh, well,
Maybe Doc changed his mind because Marty went back in time 30 years. And as you can see at the clock alarm goes off at 10:28. Personally, I think it would have been a little bit more artistic to have it click at 10:27 because that's when the date this kind of represents the date. Originally, it was October 26th. Now it's October 27th. And that envelope Marty's holding is the audition tape envelope that I was talking about earlier. You can notice by the decor of the McFly house, everything's better and not Roseanne out, as I called it.
What the hell is this? Did you sleep in the bunk again last night? Yeah, when you were at, Dave? What? I always want to switch the office.
That's Mark McClure, also known as Jimmy Olsen in the Superman movies. He was in both the original Freaky Friday and the remake. And something to point out, I'll point out in a sec. And I guess the McFlys have a bird cage, but you don't hear any birds. And it's something to think about. There's the car that was wrecked in the beginning. Perfectly fine. Because Biff wasn't out drinking and driving.
I'm sorry, Mr. McFly. I meant I was just starting on the second coat.
Yeah, Biff, what a character. High school. No.
I guess something to point out, or I'll put it out now, is the appearance of, in the way George McFly looks. Originally it was different. He was supposed to be a successful version of his nerdy self. But now I guess it was a smarter idea to go with a cool version. That's what George McFly was supposed to look like. With the glasses, and kind of dorky, and stuff like that. And now we're getting into basically the setup to Back to the Future Part 2. The last 2 minutes of the movie. And here I'll also point out Jennifer in Part 1, played by Claudia Wells, who wasn't feeling well well enough to reprise her role as Jennifer in Part 2. So this is Claudia Wells. In the sequels, Jennifer's played by Academy-nominated actress Elizabeth Shue. that you might know from Adventures in Babysitting, Hollow Man, and Oscar-nominated performance in Leaving Las Vegas. The movie I got Nicolas Cage, an Oscar win. This is everything leading into part 2. That scene right there was in part 2 exactly as it was. Everything else was refilmed because of Claudia Wells, Elizabeth Shue, that little switch over. And something that was changed was, or added, when they redid it, is this moment here. Doc immediately says no. In part 2, Doc kind of has to think and say, well, you are, but I'm not going to tell you that you become an a-hole in the future. And it was also refilmed for television as Jerks.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88. Roads?
And this is it, the big conclusion of the movie.
Roads.
Flying car. Also, I just want to point out that this to be continued card wasn't in the theatrical release because they never thought of making a sequel. So that was added in the 1986 VHS version. This is Joe Gannon signing off. Goodbye.